Okay, we're going to delve into a little bit of sales psychology now.
Okay.
And one of the a very fundamental force or tendency that people have is whenever somebody benefits you have a natural desire to want to benefit them back.
Yeah.
It's like the you scratch my back, I scratch yours type of thing. And it's funny because this is a huge social force. I mean, if you've ever had the experience of someone giving you a gift for a holiday or whatever, and you don't have something to give them back, like it just feels like, ugh, like feels really bad. And that is the tendency to reciprocation.
Got it.
The tendency of if you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and that's actually it evolved as a social force, that helps bind groups together.
Okay.
So used to be that leaders derived a lot of their power by giving things away, by throwing parties, by it's like the whole
Interesting.
North American Indian tradition of the potlatch, of throwing this big. We have too much food. We're going to throw a big party, and all of the neighboring tribes can come.
Nice.
And pig out for a couple days, and dance around the fire, like, and also that's great. But by giving that away, and conferring all of these very generous gifts, the next time that tribe was attacked,
right?
Okay, it was far more likely that the folks who had come to the party would say, "This is not happening," and they would come to their aid.
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of the genesis of the story.
Makes sense.
And you can see it all throughout history that kings would give away land and titles and castles and all that. It was a way of conferring authority or building trust or developing allies.
Absolutely.
So it's there for a reason. The interesting thing is, and there's a wonderful book that I highly recommend all of you read. It's called Influence by Robert Cialdini.
Good book.
Really good book. Cialdini is a social psychologist and comes up with some absolutely brilliant experiments. And he was really one of the first to experiment and talk about and research reciprocation. And one of Cialdini's big questions is, why do people comply with requests? Why do people do what they're asked? And he said he described himself as a sucker for sales tactics. So, if a door-to-door salesman would come selling a set of encyclopedias, he'd buy 2 sets. And so he's like, well, why?
Why am I like that? Why am I compelled?
Why do I do that?
Yeah.
And, he would shake his head. He's like, that was stupid. I don't need that. So he started asking why. And so he and his staff would go undercover into sales professions and to figure out, how do people get other people to comply with requests, like asking for the sale. And one thing, and this is one of the most memorable parts of the book for me, is that he talked about selling cars.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things they found was, you go into car salesman's office. Let's say you found something that you think you might like, and you start to negotiate on the price. Sometimes the salesperson would say, "Can I get you anything? Can I get you, a water, a coffee, a snack, soda, candy, whatever, tea." What would happen? And some wouldn't. And what they found when they crunched the data is that the people who accepted an offer of something really small, a 10-cent cup of coffee, were more likely to purchase the car, which was a multi-$1,000 transaction.
That's amazing.
They were far more likely to choose additional options. They were far more likely to choose an extended warranty, car cleaning, like all of the upsell things people were more likely to do after accepting a gift.
Yeah, it's amazing what they found.
And so, the reciprocation isn't necessarily proportional.
Yeah, like 10-cent cup of coffee, thousands of dollars onto the car package.
Exactly.
Amazing.
But we're hardwired to reciprocate, to trade favors. And so, yes, it's easy to look at this as a very, in a cynical, manipulative way, like, I'm going to do favors for but
it's good to know about yourself too.
It is good to know about yourself. So, and also, this was actually established as a policy by Sam Walton in Walmart. Walmart's buyers cannot accept so much as a cup of coffee or lunch in another company's cafeteria or anything of any value whatsoever, no matter how big or small, from anyone.
Wow.
Can't do it. And that's company policy, and if you do, you will be fired. And the reason they did that was
because they read the book.
was to avoid the practice of salespeople from other companies who are trying to sell things into Walmart, whining and dining the buyers to get preferable deals. And from Walton's perspective, the buyers for Walmart should be negotiating in Walmart's best interest only.
Wow.
And even if they think they're immune to this, or they don't, studies show that you actually are influenced by all of these things.
It's amazing.
So, you can do what Sam Walton did and never accept anything from anybody, which is probably a little bit of overkill. The thing is, and this is where this intersects with the marketing value of offering free things earlier. I look at this from running a business perspective as the business value of generosity.
Yeah.
The more you give away, the more value you give to people, the more value you provide, the more likely it is that they will support you. Okay? That they will make it possible for you to keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And so, by providing free things, I think blogs are a good example of this. Take somebody like Steve Pavlina, who's been blogging for about 5 years now.
I think so, yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of very long, very detailed free articles. No subscription, no anything. In fact, I think the first thing he sold directly was a conference that I went to.
Oh yeah, it was.
Where he was talking about some of the concepts in his book, which is also on the Personal MBA reading list. It's a great book. But he gave away
years
of his life's work for nothing, freely accessible. What that does is when he launches a conference, the people who have been reading him, like I have, even back before he had a blog, I was reading him before that. Makes it far more likely that people will come. I think there were a little over 100 people who came to the first conference from all over the world. The other thing is when he makes a recommendation, and sometimes he has affiliate or resale agreements with products that he recommends. People are really likely to do it, and it's
to trust those
and to trust them, and that's the power of generosity and the power of reciprocation. It's that he's been giving and giving and giving and giving and giving for so long that, of course, I'm going to go to the guy's conference. It costs a couple $100 to fly to Las Vegas and meet a whole bunch of interesting people. Like that's cool, but it feels good to reciprocate in that way because I've been getting value for such a long time. So it's the more legitimate value you can provide, the more generous that you can be. There's a huge business benefit to that, and that people do like to reciprocate. And so be generous. Give a lot of value, and you'll get a lot of value, and you'll get a lot of sales in return.